Have you ever paused and looked at someone you've known for years, maybe a dear friend, an old neighbor, or even your reflection in the mirror, and quietly thought, when did they begin to fade? You remember them as vibrant, full of life, of stories, of presence. Their voice carried strength, their walk had certainty, their laughter filled a room. But now, something has shifted. The steps are slower, the voice softer, the spark in their eyes just a little dimmer. And what's hardest is that nothing specific happened, no major illness, no tragic event, just a quiet slipping away, a soft, silent fading that you can't quite name. And maybe, just maybe, you've begun to feel that same fading in yourself. 2. It's easy to blame the usual suspects: age, genetics, maybe a bit of bad luck. We hear so much about heart disease, stroke, memory loss. And yes, those matter. But what if I told you that the true beginning of decline in older adults often isn't found in the blood, the brain, or the bones? What if the real change starts somewhere far more subtle and far more within your control? I've spent decades listening closely to people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, and in those deeply honest conversations, I've discovered a truth that doesn't show up on any lab report. Aging, real aging, often begins not in the body, but in the moment we stop feeling fully at home inside it. You know what I mean? That quiet disconnection. The sense that your body isn't quite yours anymore. That certain feelings, désir, sensations have faded not because they had to, but because you were told to let them go. Because somewhere along the way, the world made you believe that physical joy was for the young, that once your hair grayed, certain parts of your humanity had to be packed away. But here's the truth. You were never meant to give up that part of yourself. Note at 60, note at 80. Not ever. Because when you stay connected, when you honor your body's quiet whispers and forgotten stirrings, remarkable things begin to happen. Energy returns, clarity sharpens, sleep deepens, and most of all, a sense of aliveness begins to rise again. This isn't wishful thinking. This is biology, brain science. It's what I've witnessed in hundreds of older adults who dared to reconnect with the part of themselves the world had long ignored. And that's what this video is about. If something in your heart stirred while hearing this, if something quietly said, yes, I've missed that part of me, then I want you to stay with me. Because what you're about to discover isn't a supplement or a trend or a rigid routine. It's a gentle, science-backed practice that's helped thousands of people over 60 restore vitality, regain joy, and reclaim their relationship with their body, not to look younger, but to feel more alive. By the end of this video, I'll walk you through a simple yet powerful method that can help awaken your energy, calm your mind, and even spark a sense of warmth and closeness you thought was lost. But for now, just pause, pour yourself something warm, settle into a soft, quiet space. This is not about doing more. It's about listening differently. Because the truth is, your body hasn't given up on you. It's just been waiting for you to listen. And if this message touched something in you, even a little, I invite you to join this growing circle of older adults who are choosing a different kind of aging. Leave a comment below with these 6 words. I choose to stay vibrant after 60. That one line might be the encouragement someone else needs today to begin again. Are you ready? Let's begin together. 1. The silent epidemic. Have you ever noticed how, over time, life begins to feel smaller, not because of the size of your home or your circle of friends, but because something inside you starts to go quiet? The laughter doesn't come as easily. The days begin to blend together. Evenings feel a little colder, even when the heater's humming, and somewhere deep down, a quiet voice wonders, is this just what aging feels like? Stillness, numbness, a sense of fading. But what if I told you that this isn't aging? Not truly. What if I told you that what you're feeling is a symptom of something more invisible, something that doesn't begin in the joints or the heart, but in the loss of something far more intimate? Over the years, I've spoken with countless older adults, women and men in their 60s, 70s, even 90s. People who once moved through life with passion, who held hands during long walks, whispered affection into the dark, or felt a flutter from a simple kiss. And yet now, many of them sit quietly, unsure of what exactly went missing, only that something did. And when we peel back the layers, the same truth appears again and again. They've slowly lost touch with their own bodies, not through pain, but through disconnection from touch, closeness, and pleasure. And here's the thing, it wasn't their choice. No one ever says it out loud, but society whispers something cruel to people as they age. That physical desire is undignified past a certain point. That longing should be hidden. That pleasure has an expiration date. So, little by little, people pull away. They stop reaching for intimacy. They stop exploring their own skin. They stop believing they're allowed to feel. And the cost, it runs deeper than most realize. When you stop responding to physical pleasure, your body doesn't simply ignore it. It adapts, blood flow reduces, sensation pathways weaken, hormones shift out of balance. The chemistry that keeps your heart healthy, your mood stable, your mind sharp, it starts to falter. From there, a silent spiral begins. Shallow sleep, fatigue, lack of clarity, and a heaviness no supplement can fix. Doctors check your numbers, but they rarely ask, are you still feeling alive inside your body? And the people who need that question the most, they've often been taught to feel ashamed of it. But here's what I want you to hear clearly. Physical pleasure is not a luxury. It's a vital part of staying human. It's not inappropriate. It's not foolish. It's a sign your body still wants to live fully. When we disconnect from it, we don't just lose sensation, we lose vitality, joy, and self-worth. But that connection, it's still there, waiting, quietly, waiting for this moment, the moment you say, I still deserve to feel alive. 2. Why masturbation after 60 is critical for longevity. Can I ask you something you might not hear often? When was the last time you let your body truly feel good? Not just fine, not in pain, but deeply, undeniably good. Many people past 60 quietly start to believe that this part of life's sensuality, warmth, physical joy is something that belongs in the past. They tell themselves, that chapter is over. And with that single thought, something essential gets locked away. But what if it doesn't have to be that way? What if, instead, honoring that part of you is one of the most powerful things you can do for your health, your clarity, and your sense of purpose? Let's be honest. We live in a world that tells older adults to shrink, to silence their needs, especially when it comes to physical desire. But your biology doesn't follow social expectations. It responds to input, and when you offer it gentle, respectful, mindful pleasure, even in solitude, your body answers in remarkable ways. Science backs this up with clarity. Acts of self-pleasure stimulate your circulation, sending oxygen-rich blood to your brain and heart. They encourage hormonal shifts like increased testosterone and oxytocin that strengthen bones, stabilize mood, and boost energy. They engage your brain's centers of focus and memory. They release endorphins that reduce anxiety and promote better sleep. Sono, this isn't just about the moment, it's about supporting your entire system. Physically, emotionally, neurologically, this is not about lust. This is about longevity. After working closely with aging adults for decades, I can tell you this with certainty. Those who stay connected to their own bodies, who keep honoring sensation without shame, they often live longer. I think clearer and smile more easily, not because they're clinging to youth, but because they never stop listening to their body's quiet voice. And here's what that voice might be whispering. I still want to feel. I still want to be touched. I still want to matter. Yes, your body has changed. It moves differently. It may need more time, more patience, more tenderness. But change does not mean broken. Slower does not mean less worthy. The fire within you, though, softer still burns. And when you take a moment to reconnect in this way, you're telling your entire being, I am still alive. and I choose to stay that way. 3. Common misconceptions that steal seniors' vitality. You might be feeling something stirring inside you, a quiet sense that a part of yourself you thought was lost is starting to awaken. But almost immediately, another voice creeps in. The voice of doubt. It doesn't belong to you. Not really. It's the echo of long-held beliefs that society has whispered for decades. Today, we're going to name them, and once we do, we're going to take away their power. Misconception number 1. I'm too old to enjoy physical pleasure. This belief sneaks in slowly, often without us realizing. It shows up in the media, in family conversations, even in the way people stop seeing older adults as sensual beings. Eventually, you might start thinking, that part of my life is over. But here's the truth. Pleasure doesn't disappear with age. Your body may change, yes, but it still remembers how to feel, it still longs for closeness, and it still gains measurable benefits from gentle, intentional touch. Your nervous system, your circulation, your hormones, all of them respond to physical connection. No matter how many candles were on your last birthday cake, letting go of that part of yourself because you think you're too old is like turning off the heat in winter because you believe you're no longer entitled to warmth. Misconception number 2, touching my own body is something to be ashamed of. This one runs deep. Many people grew up in households where conversations about self-touch were avoided, silenced, or treated with embarrassment. That early discomfort stays with us. It buries itself quietly and shapes how we see our bodies later in life. But let's be clear, caring for your body gently, consciously, lovingly is not shameful. It's a sign of respect, a form of mindfulness. When done with intention, it's not about lust. It's about healing. Self-touch in your 60s or 70s isn't inappropriate. It's a way of staying connected, present, and alive. Misconception number 3. Sexuality has nothing to do with real health. This might be the most harmful belief of all. So many people treat intimacy as something optional, something unrelated to physical well-being. But modern research says otherwise. Your sexual well-being is directly linked to your immune system, your brain, your heart, your sleep, and even your emotional stability. Sexual energy fuels more than just desire. It supports longevity. It keeps your body vibrant. It nourishes your mood and sharpens your focus. Here's the beautiful part. The moment you challenge these beliefs, their grip weakens. The moment you say, that's not my truth anymore, you reclaim a piece of your joy, your confidence, your vitality. Maybe you've carried these misunderstandings for years. That's okay, but you don't have to carry them a moment longer. Because everything you've been looking for, clarity, warmth, connection, it's not gone. It's right here, waiting. And in just a moment, I'll guide you through a gentle process to help you reconnect with the part of yourself that never stopped wanting to live. 4. The restoration method, reclaiming sexual vitality step by step. Now that you've begun to understand how deeply your body is still capable of feeling, you might be asking, but how do I actually begin this journey back to myself? The answer isn't in medication or trying to recapture who you were decades ago. It starts with something much more honest, being present, being gentle, and being willing to meet yourself exactly as you are right now. This is what I call the restoration method. It's a 5-step approach created especially for older adults, not to fix or force anything, but to reopen the door to connection and care. Let's walk through it together. Step 1. Setting the space. Choose a spot that feels warm, calm, and completely yours. Close the door, dim the lights, and create a space that welcomes you. Maybe that's a soft chair, a cozy bed, or simply a blanket that brings comfort. Have something nearby to support ease and softness, like a nourishing lotion. This step tells your nervous system, I'm here and I matter. Step 2. Slowing down. Before any movement, invite stillness. Take a breath deep, slow, steady. Let your shoulders relax. Let your chest open. Release whatever tension you find in your body. This moment is not about doing, it's about arriving. The calmer your body becomes, the more it begins to trust. Step 3. Gentle contact. Place your hands on parts of your body that often go unnoticed. Your arms, your stomach, your legs, your face. No need to rush or expect anything. Touch with curiosity, with respect, as if greeting someone important. Notice what arises, not to judge it, but to recognize it. Even a tiny spark of awareness is a sign that energy is waking up. Step 4. Deepening the connection. When you feel ready, let your touch explore a little further. There's no goal here, just being with yourself fully. Let any feelings come naturally, with no need to perform or prove. This is not about climax. This is about returning to the simple truth that your body still belongs to you. Step 5. Honoring the moment. When you finish, take a pause, rest your hands over your heart or wherever you feel warmth. Take another breath. This time with gratitude, you allowed yourself to feel. You showed up. That matters deeply. That is healing. You see, this practice is not about chasing a younger version of yourself. It's about stepping into the wisdom of this moment. It's about intimacy that's rooted in presence, not pressure. And once you experience that, you'll see you never lost your spark. You just needed space to let it rise again. 5. Overcoming challenges. Let's be honest. This path of rediscovering intimacy later in life isn't always a straight line. It would be nice if the moment you opened the door to your own body again, everything simply clicked. But true healing doesn't follow a script. It meanders. It pauses. It invites, and sometimes resists. And that's exactly why we need to talk about the 4 quiet challenges that often block your way, not to discourage you, but to prepare you with compassion. Challenge 1. Expecting instant magic. Many older adults step into this journey hoping to feel the same sparks they once did in their youth. And when things feel gentler, slower, or even unfamiliar, disappointment can creep in. But here's a different way to look at it. Your body hasn't failed you, it's simply speaking a different language now. One that values attention over intensity. One that whispers instead of shouts. If you feel even a hint of warmth, a brief tingle, a moment of comfort, that is success. That is life stirring again. Let that be enough. For now, challenge 2. Giving up too soon. It's easy to stop after 1 or 2 attempts, thinking nothing is happening. But like soil that has been dry for years, it takes time for new roots to grow. Patience is everything. Instead of forcing a routine, try approaching this time like watering a garden. A little, regularly, with care, not because you must, but because you're nurturing something sacred inside you. And with time, it will respond. Challenge 3. The trap of expectation. You might catch yourself thinking, I'm not feeling enough, or I should be further along. Those thoughts create tension where there should be trust. They pull you away from presence. Release the urge to achieve. This is not about a finish line. It's about a feeling. Even 2 seconds of gentle connection is a step toward healing. Let go. Let your body lead. Challenge 4. The weight of shame. This is perhaps the most invisible barrier, that quiet voice inside saying, this isn't appropriate at my age, or why should I need this? But let's pause here. Who decided that desire has an expiration date? That touch is only for the young. If shame whispers, don't fight it, just meet it with kindness. Gently remind yourself, the need for closeness, kare, and sensation is not something to be outgrown. It's something to be honored. The people who grow most from this journey aren't the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who stay kind to themselves, who show up without judgment, who let small steps be enough. And that gentleness, that's where real transformation begins. Can I ask you something that most people never pause to think about? What if the reason your body has gone quiet, not in pain, but in pleasure, has less to do with your age and more to do with your nutrition? We often talk about aging as though it means everything must slow down, fade, or disappear. But that's not entirely true. Your body doesn't lose the ability to feel joy or closeness. It loses the support to sustain it. Physical sensation is not just a gift. It's a process, and like any process, it needs fuel. Without the right nutrients, your circulation weakens, hormones decline, and sensitivity fades, not because you've failed, but because your body is simply running low, low on energy, low on nourishment, low on the building blocks that allow you to feel fully alive. I've met many older adults who quietly blame themselves for no longer feeling desire, who assume they've passed some invisible threshold of intimacy, when in fact, their bodies were simply undernourished, clogged, and tired. And often, the first shift doesn't come from the bedroom, it begins at the dinner table. Because some foods do far more than fill your stomach, they awaken systems within you that may have gone dormant for years. Take leafy greens like spinach and arugula. They're rich in natural nitrates that promote nitric oxide production, which improves blood flow. Better blood flow means more oxygen, more responsiveness even in places you thought were beyond reach. Or walnuts, small but powerful. They offer omega-3 fatty acids that help regulate your mood and circulation, both of which are critical for emotional and physical connection. Berries, rich in antioxidants, protect your vessels and improve cellular communication, allowing your senses to sharpen. Then there's olive oil. Just a drizzle each day helps maintain hormone balance and keeps your skin and tissues nourished. And let's not forget pumpkin seeds, full of zinc, which supports testosterone production and immune health. Even something as ordinary as warm herbal tea can play a role. Ingredients like ginger and cinnamon gently stimulate circulation and help you feel more relaxed, more open, more aware of the moment. So you see, food is not just about survival. It's about sensation. Every meal you prepare is an invitation to feel, to remember, to reconnect, not with who you were in the past, but with who you are right now. Someone still worthy of pleasure, still capable of deep, quiet joy. So the next time you stir your pot or prepare your plate, think of it not as a task, but as an act of kindness. Your body is still listening, and sometimes, all it takes is one thoughtful bite to begin to feel again. So here we are, not at the end of something, but at the beginning of something quietly powerful. Maybe today, for the first time in a long while, you let yourself feel a little spark of something real. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was simply the gentle realization, I still matter. I still have a body that wants to be heard. I still deserve to feel alive. You see, growing older isn't what takes our joy away. What really dims the light is when we start shrinking ourselves to fit into the world's small expectations of us. We silence our wants. We ignore the longing in our skin. We forget that intimacy, connection, and vitality aren't just for the young. But today, something shifted. Today, you chose to stay. You chose to listen. You chose to remember that there's more to this chapter of life than just getting through. There is depth. There is fire. There is still so much to feel. And the beautiful truth is this: everything you need to feel connected again, it was never lost. It's been within you all along, just waiting for your permission. And once you say yes to it, even softly, even cautiously, your body begins to respond. Your breath slows, your shoulders drop, your heart opens, and something inside whispers, I remember this. This isn't about going back in time. It's about coming back home to yourself. So where do you go from here? Start simple. Be kind. Be patient. And most of all, be consistent, because healing isn't one big leap. It's 1,000 small moments of choosing to show up for yourself, of saying, I'm worth this. I'm still here. I choose life in every sense of the word. And if something in this message stirred something inside you, maybe a memory, maybe a longing, maybe a quiet yes, I invite you to take one small but meaningful action right now. Scroll down and type this sentence in the comments. I choose to stay fully alive. That single line might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. It might be the beginning of their journey too. Let's fill this space with voices of courage, warmth, and possibility. And if you felt seen today, if you felt understood, if this spoke to a quiet part of you that hasn't had a voice in a while, consider subscribing, liking, or simply tapping the bell, not because it's expected, but because this space is growing together, with honesty, with respect, with real stories for real people in the most meaningful stage of life. And if you feel moved to support this work further, there's a way to do that, too. Even the smallest contribution through the thanks button helps us keep sharing messages of healing, growth, and truth for those who need it most. In our next video, we'll explore something just as life-changing: how a simple daily practice of touch, yes, even something as small as placing your hand gently on your chest, can ease anxiety, soften chronic pain, and protect your memory in ways science is only beginning to understand. You won't want to miss it. Until then, carry this truth with you. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not disappearing. You are here. And you still deserve a life filled with connection, comfort, and joy. Thank you for choosing this moment. Thank you for choosing yourself. And until we meet again, be gentle, be curious, and above all, never forget you are still worthy of happiness. You are still worthy of wholeness. You are still worthy of a life that feels fully, deeply yours.